Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to Unicross. The Silent Assassin Marluxia is finally here and he comes in pretty good, being one of the most unique random medals in the game. He's got two things going for him that no other random medal has, and he's not that bad either. He's got a high multiplier of 50. So this guy right here, we're gonna have a lot of fun with him. He looks absolutely amazing. First of all, great looking medal. It's Marluxia, husbando. Can't go wrong. Him and Axel are like my favorite organization members. But let's talk about if you guys should be pulling for him or skipping for him. And this answer's a little bit back and forth because it all depends on what you have when you started and traits, obviously, down the line. So, just to go over the medal, what it does exactly, so you guys can see it's a 2-turn random medal, so all these buffs will be carrying over and stacking on top of each other because it's not overwrite for 2 turns, which is pretty nice if they ever raise the buff cap. He is a tier 8 random medal with 1 single hit, which is weird because if there's multiple enemies, when he does his random, it's just random target. Where if you had a medal do 3 hits, his damage would be divided into 3 onto 3 different enemies, or the same enemy if you're lucky and that's the target you want to go for. But 1-hit medal, when it comes to bosses, PvP, doesn't really matter because it's just one enemy anyways, especially raid bosses. When you take away all the other limbs, it's only that one target, so it doesn't matter too much. This is really good because he is a random medal, and we're gonna get to the next part, which is juicy. But he costs 6, so you guys got to put that attack boost max with SP gauge. So if you're thinking of 8 max on this, not a good idea, especially being a reverse medal, because missing ache is like one of the strongest ones for him, and that has a very low cost, although there is the divine rose. But let's talk about how much damage he does. So at 6-star fully gilted, he does 24.09, and at 7-star fully gilted, he does 50.03. So he's just like Syx, the other organization member that came out. His buffs are 7 general attack up, 7 speed up, and then he buffs your reverse strength by 3 at 6 stars, but at 7 stars, it's actually 6. And now, this is the big kicker about this medal, that it's kind of like everyone should kind of get him, but at the same time, is it really that important? He is the first random medal to apply a debuff of general defense. General defense down by 4, which is huge, and I believe just debuffs in general, he's the only random medal that does that. Now, this would have been useful during Luxor's event, and again, that was very niche. It was the first time we had to like rely on random medals, but they brought out another quest. Wasn't really important, not for much rewards, but they did have a quest where there's 5 quests where you had to use only random medals. So this might come out in handy somewhere down the line, but the entire time this game's been out for 2 years, we haven't really needed a random medal with general defense down until Luxor came around and told us otherwise. But that was one event. Then again, though, the medal is powerful, so having that one medal with general defense down can kind of pay for itself. But the medal is random, so you're thinking, well, that's only going to apply to one enemy. No, that's weird, because Marluxia's effect says that general defense down by 4 actually targets all of the enemies. So even though he's only going to do damage to one enemy, every enemy is going to get the debuff of general defense down by 4, making a random medal pretty powerful if you ask me. 2-turn buffs and 2-turn debuffs, so that means if they ever decide to raise the buff cap again, or debuff cap, that's going to be general defense down by 7 currently, or 8 later on. So if you get a pet rank that says increases the amount of debuffs that go on enemies, because right now we have a pet rank that says add +1 to all attributes, so we actually have ×8 buff if you have the proper pet rank. So maybe down the line they might be going, hey, you can lower your enemy's general defense down by 8 now if you hit 7 and beyond. So that's something to take into consideration when looking at Marluxia. He's the only random medal that's got that debuff going on for him. So pretty amazing. The banner JP currently has right now is that if you pull for him, it costs you 15,000 jewels, but you do get those reprint medals, which nobody really cares about anymore. You do get ×3 gems, speed gems per pull. So if you pull all 5 times, you're looking at a total of 15 speed gems, and also you get a trait medal per pull. So yes, the event gives you trait medals, but there's even more trait medals while you're pulling for it. Now, global version has been different this entire time, especially during Luxor. It's 11,600 jewels in total for 5 pulls, so you mercy him for less jewels. You don't get gems, and you don't get a trait medal. You just get really bad reprint medals that you don't need, especially because we're pulling these reprint medals in the 6 to 7 star banners like Nominate. Copy Nominate had it. The current 6-7 star deal has it, and every other future banner is going to have it. So global version versus JP banner, I kind of want to have a mix of both. The speed gems are nice, and in global we need gems like crazy, but we'll see what the global version gets. Right now this is the JP banner, looks pretty solid. It's easy to go for trait medals, gems, and you get the medal guaranteed in 5 pulls for 15,000 jewels. It's a great free-to-play look at the game, and also anyone who's VIP, you can get a really solid reverse speed medal. But is it right for you? Do you guys need this medal beside the niche of it being the only medal random that general defense down on all targets, which is really cool, and I think it will have some usefulness down the line. And if it's for another organization event, those events are worth 5,000 jewels, so this kind of pays for itself. And also, if you use this medal during its event, like you need Marluxia to pass the event, it only does 1 hit, so counters aren't affected as much. You pretty much got yourself paid for here. This medal will pay for itself. But if you can complete the event without Marluxia, then you have yourself an extra 5,000 jewels. But let's look at why you should go for it or shouldn't go for it. We're going to look at cookstracker.com and check out where it's competition. Where does this medal sit? So, Marluxia will be right beside Sykes here because, again, they have the same multiplier, 50.03 at 7 star and 24.09 at the 6 star. So he'd be sitting right over here before or after, and these are all the medals that are stronger than him. Now, obviously, the high score challenge medals have been king this entire time, including Mickey being at 53, Luxor being 57, but you have a random chance of it being a high hit or a low hit. So he doesn't really count, but he counts when you add it all of it up. But anyways, so he does sit in the 50 mark. 50 and above as a tier 8 is great. That makes him stronger than the Kiart, the Riku, and the Sephiroth at 47. Makes him stronger than Warrior of Light, your Lexius, your Diz, your Scar, Hercules, all that. He is stronger. He is a strong tier 8. Bottom of the list of tier 8s. Not bottom, but when it comes to the 50s, he's at the 50 mark, where we're already at 53.66, but that doesn't mean nothing. My Visible has been killing it in damage. So the whole point is, should you guys go for it? Well, looking at reverse speed medals and being the strongest, he is number 3. There you go. I'm pretty sure that's being updated right now. Marluxia. Ignore that number for now, though. That 47 doesn't exist. Rosie, I'm sorry that I'm doing this while you're doing this. But anyways, he's going to sit as number 3, having a 50.03 multiplier. Invisible being second, and Zach B being the first. Of course, you do have the Roxas and Xion medal over here, but that's a 35.90, nowhere near the power of these medals. And same thing with the VIP medal, who is random, but only at 39.96. So he is one of the best medals for reverse speed. And then you also have your Phantom, which can copy the best medal. So Phantom can copy Invisible, Phantom can copy, you got Zach B here. And Invisible is kind of a good example to compare him to, because he does deal 1 hit, but he is a single target, where again, you can choose who you want to hit with this medal, where the Marluxia, you can't, because he's random. He's going to hit 1 target depending on where the game says so, which is only going to hurt you so much. But if you guys got the new Nominate, he pretty much hits everyone as well. Anyways, we'll talk about that another time. So why am I bringing this up, where he sits and how powerful he is that yes, he's damage, but if you guys got Zach B, Phantom, or Invisible, or the Phantom, then you're pretty much set already. I'm going to show you guys some keyblades that are reverse speed in it. So you got 2 slots here. Slot number 1 will most likely be your Marluxia, Zach B, or Invisible. And then this slot, you can be using Phantom, Invisible, Zach B, or again, Marluxia. So if you already have those other 3 medals, your slots are taken, because you're not going to really use Marluxia unless his traits come out better. And that's where RNG comes into this. You have more chances of re-rolling traits than you did have on Zach B, and that's about it. Invisible came with a bunch of copies to re-roll traits, and so did the Phantom, because Phantom was a trait medal every pull, so if you pulled 5 times, you had 5 trait rolls. So Marluxia can be better if your traits are good, but if not, I'm going to show you exactly where he fits and what might take his place, like I said. So you got those two right there. There's only 2 slots on the Lady Luck, and Lady Luck's not really our go-to Keyblade for PvE content. It's usually PvP if we're forced to use it, and we're forced to use it a lot. So that is the Lady Luck. Olympia's a speed Keyblade, but he only fits in the beginning over here. That would be good for 2-turn medals, like your stained glass medals that carry over buffs. You can start off the Keyblade with them because he also has his general strength buff, and that carries over to your next Keyblade, so on and so on. So his buffs can carry over, and he can sit in the front here. But when you look at normal PvE content, he has no place on the Olympia. Then we move on to the Divine Rose, which his event is based on this Keyblade. So if you guys want to pass his quest, you can only use a Divine Rose. So Divine Rose, 2.10 multiplier. Again, it could be Marluxia, it could be your Invisible, could be your Phantom, but there's only 2 slots. So if you already have 2 strong reverse speed medals, you're not going to really put them there unless you need that random medal because it's a random target event. Again, it has to be forced upon us. Besides that, we would choose something else. So only 2 slots on the Divine Rose. When you look at it, Sleeping Lion, only 1 slot. So you're either making this a full upright Keyblade with your Phantom copying forward, or you're sticking Zach B here or the Invisible himself because you can choose your target. And your buffer will take care of the general defense down. So that's the Sleeping Lion, not a bad Keyblade. Stroke at Midnight, again, 1 Keyblade slot. Strong Keyblade, but there's only 1 slot you can put here. Yes, you can put yourself a reverse speed medal here, but when you look at this, it's kind of crying for an upright setup or a reverse setup, depends which way you go. So if you do go reverse, he can fit here, but again, Zach B is stronger. Invisible is just a little bit stronger, so Marluxia just has to have that better traits, or your Phantom just copies an upright magic medal. Bob and Jack Jack, 53.66 on 2 slots instead of a 50 multiplier for 1 slot, because you're most likely gonna have all those buffs. Now the only Keyblade that actually matters in all of this is the Missing Ache. So Missing Ache, it depends if you have all the reverse medals or not. PvP wise, you're going to use a Roxas versus Xion here if you're carrying over those buffs from stained glass medals that are not speed. You're going to want him there. You're going to use an anti-form sword to copy forward. So what's the setup going to look like? Most likely your setup's going to have a Phantom copying your pet medal, which is probably going to be like a 53 multiplier. You're going to have yourself an Invisible over here or Zach B. And then same thing over here, you're going to have either the Invisible or the Zach B. So already everything's filled. Zach B, Invisible, Phantom, and whatever's on the pet slot. It doesn't have to be a reverse speed medal. So you do have the choice if you don't have all 3 reverse medals I just said, especially at 7 stars, or you kind of don't buy VIP. Then for those of you who don't have Invisible, yes, the Marluxia will sit in this Keyblade very nicely with your other 2 reverse medals. If you're using Roxas versus Xion, then obviously you're going to put him over here because of just the buffs and debuffs that he applies, and also we don't have much reverse speed medals. So Missing Ache is the only place he really shines when it comes to that, because he does have a spot. There's so much room on this Keyblade, but that's the only time. So that's why I say it's very selective of where this this medal goes on Keyblades. So it's all up to you guys on what you have already or what you don't have, because this medal is very strong. 50 multiplier is no joke. My Invisible's hitting 12 million in PvP with the right traits, and you guys could get the right traits on this, being -60 ground for PvE content or extra attack plus 1000s for that PvP content, and also PvE content that doesn't have ridiculous defense. So in the end, are you going for this lovely medal, guys? Me personally, he is worth 120 pet points, going to 144. My Zach B's multiplier is bigger, but I didn't get good traits. I could pull for this guy, spend 11,600, but I might not get good traits. Another thing to keep in consideration is that organization members came back. So if he is niche, being that he's reversed general defense down by 4 for 2 turns, all medals being a random medal, the only one that has that, if he's only for certain quests and they bring back that organization event that you can get reprints of these medals if you beat that event for free, then you can kind of skip out on him and just wait for that event to come back. If they do something like that again, if they bring that back. Maybe they only did it for the first half of the organization members to make us feel the power of those medals and want the next set. Who knows? They might not do that whole thing again, and then you just miss out on a really good medal for random. But again, there's only been one quest that really cried out for it, but that doesn't mean a whole bunch won't come again. And Does that quest come back to give us a free one? Who knows? So it's all up to what jewels you have, what you can sacrifice right now. But guys, I'll be helping you on that organization event as much as I can. So hopefully we don't need this guy for the event, but I am going to pull for this guy. Me personally, especially on my free-to-play account, I will go for him. But remember, he comes at a 6-star, so you still need tier 8 fairies to evolve him into a 7-star. So if you didn't have anything saved, you're going to have lacking power when he does come around. But that's with every other tier 8 in the game. It's need those fairy tickets unless you get super lucky with Supernova, Sephiroth, or Key Art 19, and you got a 7-star medal that has pure power on it. Anyways, guys, that is the whole entire thing. Let me know what you guys are doing. Are you going for it? Do you like this medal? Its animation is pretty sick. Endolphin, thanks for your video, buddy. That animation is awesome. They've been doing a great job on that. If you guys did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.